all to our Kilimanjaro Leadership Summit 2025 Prep Webinar 3. Really excited to be here with you guys all. And again, really important that you guys all understand and hopefully speak about something that really is and brings about a big difference, in our world in terms of what we do as FITBANKER, in terms of our Kilimanjaro Leadership Summit versus, say, booking a holiday or, say, just booking the climb with another organization, where you just show up and there isn't really a build-up, and I'm going to use this word, significance to the event. And this really becomes a significant life-transforming event if we really get connected to what meaning we're going to attach in the preparation, what role this event is going to play for us, how much input we need to put in physically, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. And I share this beautiful photo here, our 76-year young, was he 76? Who can remind me? Was he 76 when he did this?
68 or 69. He was going to be 70 this year.
Sorry, it was 68 turning 69. Yeah, 68. 76 was my dad. 68-year young summiteer who did this with so much ease, so much grace, so much flow, and so much gratitude. He's coming again. He wants to do it again with his kids and grandkids. He did start the summit with his daughter, and he wasn't able to get to summit with his daughter. She had to turn around after 2 days on the mountain, and then day 3 she descended. But he really got connected to how doing it by design, following the rules, following the preparation, allows you to experience this mountain and summit this mountain, conquering ourselves. And I'd love to bring your attention to this beautiful quote, specifically a segment of this quote, which we talk about and always iterate, which is why we do the adventure arm of what we do. For those of you that know the history of FITBANKER, we started to work on people's fitness and health and well-being. And after people suddenly, middle of the age, got into this kind of best shape of their life, that ask, hey, what do I do now? And that's what kind of led to treks and applying our body to something that's physically, emotionally, and mentally challenging. But this beautiful quote, the Dalai Lama, when asked what surprised him most about humanity, said, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money, then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present, the result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and then dies having never really lived. And I'd love to bring your attention to the last sentence of this particular quote. And I'd love to hear from any one or two of you, like, what does this mean to you? And where in your life have you seen your concern, your fear, your anxiety, your procrastination has you not enjoy the present? Where have you had an area of life or something you wanted to do constantly being put on hold because you relate to, you identify with this? Please raise your virtual hand if you'd like to share. And anything else that you understand by what this means, even if you don't have a specific area, what do you understand by this part of this quote by the Dalai Lama? Aarti?
So I think it's exactly what it says, that we keep on just, we plan for the future, not knowing what it is, right? But we forget to just like have fun in the present day, do the stuff that really should be done. While we plan for the future, like for me, for example, when I got onto my first FITBANKER challenge, I was thinking of, I want to get there, but I wasn't doing what I wanted to get to that place. So that's what I get. Like, that's what I understand from there. So you waste too much time.
So what is...
You waste too much time thinking about the future or thinking about what's going to happen next without making any effort while you're here in what you're supposed to do.
And is there anything that comes to mind in life, if you look back on life, where has there been something you've wanted to do and you're like, one day, someday, but you're busy, so it's always been pushed back?
Yeah, there was, and that's why if you know, last year I did go back into theater, which is what I always wanted to do. And I kept on pushing it forward because, oh, okay, marriage, kids, work, everything else takes priority.
Yeah.
And I never thought I'd really go back until last year. So yeah, that's something.
Awesome. Awesome, Aarti. Awesome, and well done biting the bullet. Anybody else? What do you understand by this part of the quote? What do you relate to? What is an area of your life where this has been true for you? Let's go, Sandy.
Yeah, so for me, in fact, even as you were reading it out, I already wrote down the bottom part of that sentence. You know, you live as if you're never going to die, and then you die never having really lived. Something super simple came to mind for me, and that's I've always wanted to be out in nature, go out for walks. I mean, Houston, so there's always this fear because there's a lot of people in my neighborhood that post pictures of like snakes coming out on trails, and you know, there's the preserve I was walking in yesterday was a posted sign that there's alligators in the preserve, so you might encounter them on your trail. And there's always like this fear of doing things, but work is busy, and there are times that I work from home, take care of my family. There are times where I will work almost like a 10-hour day and not even realize that I've been working that long, and look up and it's 4 hours and I still have my morning coffee. I'll procrastinate going out, going for a walk, and then in the evening I'll just go ahead and get on the treadmill. But doing Kilimanjaro and the understanding what's at stake, like maybe not even coming down the mountain, forces me like to go out for a walk. I'm exploring nature preserves in my city that I never even knew existed. Completely motivated me, but this whole endeavor is breaking limiting beliefs and forcing me to live, because previously I was like, tomorrow, I have all the time in the world. I'm, you know, living as if I'm never gonna die and never having lived.
Awesome. Awesome. And it's so brilliant that you picked that part, because the one memorable part of that whole second part of the quote is that, and then yeah, he does not live in the present, or he lives as if he's never going to die, and then die, never really live. That last bit is the bit that I can always remember by heart. And I look at people who they get to the point in life, and often, at least a few cases that come to mind that I remember, is they reach a stage where something happens to them that's critical, a terminal illness, an injury, a state of health, a caring condition that they just cannot now move out and break free from. And they never get to do that thing that they kept pushing off to someday. So thanks all for sharing that. And I really want to acknowledge, as you share that you think about this is something that you're stepping into. I'm going to also ask you this, and I'm going to explain later why. Think about 2 or 3 people in your life for a moment who this is them. Like they aren't stepping into something. It could be a loved one, it could be a parent, it could be an uncle, it could be a cousin, could be a colleague at work, where they're so busy and caught up in the busyness, the illusion, the maya of currently what life is throwing at them, that they're not taking a step back to pause and say, hey, when are we going to see this beautiful globe? We call ourselves earthlings, but we're not really stepping into discovering Earth. So think about 2 or 3 names that come to mind. We will look at them in a moment. So again, reminder, what is purpose of these calls? Hina, by the way, has anyone checked on Rakesh before I progress?
I have. I've
As
messaged
in
him, but no response. Oh
Okay.
no, I'll message
Might
him
be
now.
able to try to WhatsApp call him if you can, just because I don't want him to miss this one. So purpose of these calls, obviously, for us to get to connect, to know each other, share progress updates. So please, guys, as you come on, and when I'm asking to share, if you're someone that hasn't shared, please do share, so we all get to get a sense of you. And if you're someone that's shared, don't hesitate to keep sharing. Don't think you're always the one raising your hand. You should continue to play all out. The way you participate on the webinars is also the way you're going to participate on the mountains. I can assure you that. Share progress updates. flag any concerns that come up for you, because very important. When you haven't been up a mountain like this or done a hike like this, there are some concerns or issues, even an injury, even pain, even your weight level, even your fitness, even your experience on a hill, which you suffered on or struggled with. And you may make a mountain of a molehill of your concern, right? So, pun intended, which is really that's what takes people out of the game. We have had people say, that small thing scared me, therefore I can't do this. But the small thing that scared you is the thing we should be doing 1 or 2 more times before the big mountain, right? We've experienced this firsthand with people who get confronted by Box Hill, which is literally a hill. We have people who get confronted and triggered by them getting fatigued on a particular 5K run or a 10K charity run that they signed up to, and thinking, if I couldn't do that, how on earth am I going to do Kilimanjaro? There are people that get confronted or triggered by an injury that's been niggling at them for a long time. And there are those that gave that significance and magnified that, and it became bigger than the mountain, and it had them not take on the mountain. And there are those that said, okay, that pain's been there, let me take on the mountain. If I can do the mountain with that pain, guess what else I can go on to do in life? And I keep sharing these stories, and I will keep sharing them, because over 100+ lives, for me, this has been a lesson in psychology and understanding humans and understanding how they work and how they perform. We are going to be doing visualization. We'll be doing some of that today. We will be looking at, we've shared on the last session a little bit about the training expected. We'll gain insight from others and hear from others. And if you are part of treks that we have regional treks in the US or the UK, allows you to meet others there as well. We'll learn a little bit of Kiswahili in the sessions closer to going up the mountain. But anybody that wants to formally, you love the fun of developing a language skill between now and the mountain, we have about 24 weeks, and you can learn loads in 20 lessons. You can learn a lot in 20 lessons if you want to take it on, about 25 weeks actually. So if you want to take on any Swahili classes, I've mentioned that I have a Swahili teacher. He will do a time at your time zone and convenience. So long as after school hours, he's a teacher on Zoom. And it's a great way for you to just experience interacting in a new language. And it's also just great for brain development, whatever age or stage we're at. So if you want to go fast, go alone. I shared earlier about the significance. Some of you may have seen this quote before. Like, you could get married to somebody in court and register a marriage, or you can do a big hoo-ha about it, have a big invitation, have a big party, have multiple days of events that is so significant and so much effort and so somewhat painful to go through, to prepare for, that you're like, you know what, we're not doing that again. And it makes you attach significance to the event. Same to the birth of a new being. We do that with a birthday, and we bring significance to it. But same to your life-turning moment. Weddings, birthdays, starting a new job, being laid off, being retired are all life events. So too is a mountain like Kilimanjaro, not to be taken lightly and not to think it's just any mountain. And it's a lot more significant than, say, maybe doing Mount Kenya or Mount Tukal, which are other great mountains on the continent. But Kilimanjaro itself is the roof of Africa. It is the highest single standing volcano. And who gets to determine when the old ends and the new begins? Like the old way you run your life. It's not on the calendar. It's not a birthday. It's not a new year. It's an event, big or small, something that changes us. Ideally, that gives us hope, a new way of living and looking at the world, a way of letting go of old habits, old memories. What's important is that we never stop believing we can have a new beginning. But it's also important to remember that amid all the bad, there are few things worth holding on to. Meredith Grey, beautiful quote. So we're going to attach the significance to it. And some of you might want to think about right now and do some pre-homework. I just want to seed this idea with you all. Some of you work in organizations where we are going to soon be announcing, and somebody will be volunteering from you to, say, be a fundraising volunteer. Some of you will have and discover that your company actually gives you an adventure or training stipend, and they would love to hear how you used a particular fund or bursary that they give you towards some developmental area, like this training program. And our invoice would specify that this is a leadership training program. And how do you document and bring significance to it? Or rather, how do you bring significance to it? You document it. And so you might want to look at on your intranet, in your companies, on your community websites, might be religious or spiritual organizations that you're an active member of, or your church, that they do short articles and write-ups of featuring a member. It could be your gym. Your gym might want to do a member profile on you. And it's a great way for you to get your preparation documented, an interview, but also build a hype to what lay ahead for you. And so I'm going to have you think about this. You might want to check if there's such opportunities available. You might want to check in and say you're doing this in June. You might want to find out from them whether it's worth doing a feature article before or after the mountain. And then you might want to do a campaign awareness within your company for fundraising once the fundraising lead and page is launched. But this is a story and a beautiful article that was covered for one of our summiteers. This is from 2017, Emma Coyne, and now she's just got it documented in history. It's there, her article. This was a new online magazine that launched, but she has her story captured and documented for her kids who are very young then, but now as they grow up, they'll be able to see it, for her grandkids, and they'll really be able to see the beautiful epic stuff. But also, it's a reminder for us that when we're on the mountain, trying to look for a picture, to find one picture that showed her up this epic mountain was not easy to find. Thankfully, we had this one where she was just crossing the glaciers, and it was good enough resolution for it to feature in the magazine. And it's important, which is also why, we have a camera crew and a professional photographer, that at moments where you think this is an iconic moment to sum up in a photo what you've taken on, please don't hesitate to pause and get a beautiful angle, a beautiful perspective where a picture can paint 1,000 words, and start to look around at where are PR opportunities for you as an individual, as a coach, as an entrepreneur, as a super mom, as a member of your religious, spiritual learning organization, whatever it may be. Now, we're going to do a little bit of a tombstone exercise. Sorry, I just need to
like this idea.
This. Okay, I'm going to just pause, share for a second, and I just want to very quickly prepare something. So if we can, and welcome Rakesh. Rakesh, are you able to come on camera, or are you out busy doing something else? Is Rakesh there? Oh, there we are. So, all right, cool. I just shared earlier, Rakesh, before you joined. It might be that you may not have heard, but just if we can all have a notepad or digitally on your phone for you to go through the next exercise. Okay. All right, can you all see my screen? Can you see my screen? Thumbs up, yeah? Okay, brilliant. All right, guys, so now I want all of us to sit back. We're going to do what is called a tombstone exercise. And I just want to share here, like, the intention of this exercise. For some people, it does freak some people out. The intention is not to freak anybody out. And there will be a follow-on exercise that we do from here later on, where we get to really look at a very powerful, empowering perspective on our life. Now, this exercise kind of came about, well, firstly, it exists as a form of mindfulness, almost. Some of you might have heard of a Buddhist technology or method they use called negative visualization. Some of you might have done that. Some of you might have heard of it. And what we're going to look at is we're going to look at doing a little bit of negative visualization but it's there for a very empowering reason. And I want us to close our eyes, sit where we are, sit back where we are. Hopefully nobody's driving, and if you are, then don't participate unless you can pull over to the side and participate. I want us to all close our eyes. Can I just check, can you hear the music?
I can't hear it.
Can't hear the music. Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so okay, so I want you all to sit back in your chairs, close your eyes, back upright, feet if you can both firmly placed on the floor ideally. If you're sat on the carpet, you can cross your legs. Pause and take a deep breath in. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Slowly exhale. Hold your breath out for 4 seconds. Breathe in for 5 seconds. Hold for 5. Exhale for 5 seconds. Hold out for 5. Inhale for 5. Hold for 5. Exhale for 5. Hold for 5. Slowly return to normal, slow but deep breaths at a very casual and normal pace that you can sustain, keeping your eyes closed. I want you to think about your life, the life you've lived so far. Think about important people in your life. Think about who and how people have influenced in your life. What role have they played? Think about as you go off to the mountain. Think about who on the mountain will you think of most? Who will you wish was there or could see the beauty that you're seeing? Think about the ridges on the mountain. Think about the view above the clouds. Think about the valleys and the waterfalls and the streams of the melting glaciers passing you by as we walk along them through thick rainforest. Think of who you will be with there, that's already with you on the mountain, that you're getting to do this with. And you're grateful that they're there with you. As you think of these people, I want you to look back and think about your life and thinking, and I want to take this back to one of the participants who, in preparation one of the years ago, said, hey, what if I don't come back? I need to get my affairs in order. I need to prepare my will. Now, as I say this, I want to remind you all that Kilimanjaro is one of the safest mountains in the world at its height, under 6,000 meters. Still has a good level of oxygen as we get to the top. Yet it's still a physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually demanding experience. The mountain is a touristic mountain, not a technical climb. It is a safe, guided route that is a walking hike. But at the same time, there will be parts where we will use our hands to scramble. We will use our poles to support us. We will bend over on our knees to get a grasp of breath. We may have tears. We may have headaches. We may struggle to breathe. We may have an upset tummy. What if this was the last big physical feat we took on? I want to assure everyone we will be safe. We will do our best to be safe. We will take our best care and provision and professionalism from our side to ensure your safety. But I want you to visualize, like I explained earlier, what we call negative visualization. Let's just say something happened to you on the mountain, or right after the mountain, or even before the mountain. Like as you prepare for the mountain, even as you're not ready for the mountain, all you've done is signed up to it as one of your lifetime goals and wishes. But let's just say something happened to you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Let's just say something happened to you today. I say this having known in the last week 2 people we know of, one directly, one indirectly, who have actually passed away in this last week. We actually had a funeral yesterday, and at that funeral, people were gathered around with flowers, a grave was dug, and there were 3 to 4 speeches that were delivered by different people. I had to say a few words, and I had to speak of what was that person's last week, last words, last conversations with me, last text messages to me, what was most important on his mind. Similarly, I want you to think about you. If you're having an out-of-body experience of you and that you've passed away, which 3 people can you think of that you're certain will be there at your funeral? And if they won't be there at your funeral, there will be someone somewhere in the world that will definitely have a powerful message, a powerful speech, a powerful eulogy, a powerful testimonial to say of who you were. What will they say of you? What will they say of your life? Really think again of who those 3 people are. I'm going to pause here and ask you to open your eyes and write down the 3 names of people in your life that you would love to hear from, or that you know would have something to say about you. If you passed on, they may not even know that they're significantly in your thoughts. Think about who those 3 people are. You might have a few more names that come to mind. You can write a few more that come to mind. And now, I want you to write down, what would they have to say about you? According to you, in your view, what would they say about you? Like your personality, your behavior, your accomplishments. What will they say you created because of which this world or society is different? can see the questions on screen. What will they say are your funniest or craziest moments? Maybe your most risk-taking, your greatest accomplishments, your achievements. Remember, even though you've listed out your people, might come to mind some colleagues at work, bosses you've worked for that you'd love to hear from. Take a few moments to write down what they will say about you. You can see the questions on screen. And once one of you has a number of bullet points, do raise your hand. I'd love to get some shares. If you've got something written down, it might be bullet points right now, guys. Just share them. As mentioned, guys, it might be slightly moving as we document this, but so will the mountain, and so will the memory of the build up to the mountain. And Rakesh, I know you've just joined today, not all the calls are like this, but this is just one of the prep calls to get us ready for the beautiful mountain ahead. Who would like to share? Jigna?
Yeah, I can share. Definitely very moving, and especially seeing others on the screen as well, feeling the same emotions. Having done this exercise back in 2023, I do have my slide open from then because I had, pretty much a lot of similar things, part of the questions to answer, and I've added few little bullet points as well. All right, I'll just go through my slide here. So what would people come and say is that Jigna is a woman of strength, a caring wife, mother of 2 amazing children, pacifist, collaborative, and natural leader. I find it hard to see that for myself at times, for sure. Serving others, always can count on her for being there. Hardworking, great listener, a good planner, well organized, hardworking, believed and followed her values, often short on temper, but working very hard to improve. Kind, thoughtful, generous, putting others' needs first. I loved clear sky, fluffy white clouds that go by. I can watch for hours and hours. Sensitive, crying easily, as you can see. I come up with silly fun games, ideas, whether it's at work, at home, to help kids navigate through any challenges, or even to overcome some emotional challenges. Loved my family and accepted others for who they are. Always coachable, willing to learn. Afraid of animals, and I would not go near them. Some of the other questions I think were, what do you own? Cars, house, jewelry, insurance policies, retirement accounts. I have my will done in 2021. I've shared my passwords and important documents with hubby and whoever needs to be involved, taking care of affairs afterwards. Some of the funniest or the craziest moments I think would be shared by a couple of friends. I do monthly classes making my cards, greeting cards, and they would have some stories to share. And craziest things so far I've done is climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in 2023. Came down from the mountain, fell in love, signed up again, went on a training hike last year at Mount Snowdon, took multiple falls, fractured my arm. Didn't stop me, but delayed a little bit. But here I am, trying to attempt climbing the mountain again. That's it.
Thanks so much, Jigna. Thank you so much for sharing. I really want to acknowledge you and sharing so generously.
Thank you.
Thank you all as well for hearing that out and listening from Jigna. I know you've said you kind of did this previously. There's a slight tweak to how we do this assignment this time, but we'll share that in a moment. Let's hear from Pooja.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I cried through the whole thing like a bunch of other people. I think for me, I think it'd be my mom, my sister, and Smir speaking. I think the biggest thing for me that people will say is that I'm present. I'm really good at being present. I stop to smell the roses and I lose track of time and I enjoy people. Like I really get to know people. I think I'd be known as being kind and loyal and wearing my heart on my sleeve for sure. to being a bit of a warrior for people, like not a warrior, but a warrior. So people worrying about people. I'd definitely be known as a contribution to others. I think my kids would say that I was just the closest thing to perfection, because that's really what they think. As far as what I create, I'm really good at inclusivity. I include people and I accept people, and I am really good at being relatable, and creating a space of non-judgment, which means I get very close to people because they share probably quite a lot with me. I am good at being a service to others, for sure. When people, when you said property and ownership, like, I'm sure we own a bunch of stuff. Samir takes care of everything. The first thing I thought of was a home with a kettle that's always boiling. So, I will always have people over. I'll watch people's kids. I'll take kids to the hospital. And so for me, I don't know, it's like I'll have a car to transport people and a home to feed people. So for me, there wasn't much in ownership. Although thankfully Samir cares more about that stuff, so our children will be supported. But I think, yeah, for me, it would be probably the shining thing would be present, and making more than one person feel like they were the most important person to me.
Awesome, Pooja. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for so generously sharing, and for everybody else who's listening as well. Like I said, guys, this is a bit emotional. I know Seema, you've just joined, but we are doing a specific exercise, and this is called the Tombstone Exercise. And we want everybody to, we did a little bit of visualization of reflecting on, if our world came to an end, what would people say about us? Love to get one more person to share. And as a reminder, guys, there's intent behind this, because part of living our life is also bringing responsibility and ownership around where we are, around what we own, around what we've got incomplete to do. And this brings responsibility inside of leadership. Most of us live through life, even our careers and our businesses, like we've got forever to sort out whatever there is to sort out. And you might be thinking, hey, what has this got to do with leadership training? But leadership training always has a what we call value number 15, replace yourself, an exit strategy, a preparing and developing the next set of leaders, a vision shared, a mission in place. And this allows us to think about what we want to be remembered for. Sometimes drafting this, we realize, oh wow, there isn't much that they may say about me. And it makes you get A into G and say, I've got to, put my pedal to the metal in that particular area of life, which I've paused or halted or slowed down in. Arti?
Okay. So
You've written stuff down, you can
can
type, but we would love.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, and I'm
Okay.
just replying to Pree's comment on the chat. We'd definitely love to record you crying, Prii. I know you might laugh at it at some point and look back at it, but you might appreciate the recording. So it's up to you. You can type it if you wish, but we'd love to hear it. Arti, we're just going to
Okay.
take a couple more shares, guys, and I'd love others. It will be part of an assignment, and so we'll take one more share after Arti. Arti, go for it.
Okay. So Arti was a bubbly, fun-loving person. She was always showing up in her space as powerfully as she could. She was a determined, loving mother, was a good leader who led from the front, who loved the oceans, the skies, the clear skies, and the ocean was her favorite happy place to be at. Funny that she was on the mountain, but She was the light of every party. She was a loyal friend, and her life revolved around her family. She loved to be in the limelight and was always dressed up well with her nails done up. She was a stand-up comedian, a dancer, actor, and she had quite a few other feathers on her cap. But she loved to dance, especially to the naughty Bollywood numbers, and made you dance with her too. She loved her glass of whiskey, and she loved color, and she was always dressed up colorfully. She was a good listener, a good friend. She was a hardworking individual. She didn't own much, just cars, jewelry, some few accounts. But her prized possessions were her daughters and her husband. She had the knack to bounce back from any challenges that were thrown her way. And whether it be just life giving her lemons or her health or whatever it was, yeah, that's all I've written for now.
Awesome. And we see you colorful for sure today on screen. You haven't missed the color, and you got black and white there as well. But thank you for sharing, Aarti, so powerfully. Just to get I heard you correctly, did you say you like the naughty Bollywood songs, or the Bollywood songs of the naughties?
I like I'm naughty. I think Hina gets me. She's smiling.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm sending my
for
replacement to the mountain, Ronnie.
Let's find out. All right, is that Prii or Raj? Who's going?
I will go next. It's been so emotional, and it always seems emotional because
He's recording this.
I told you I'd choke out. I don't care about what happens to me. People around me that I care about the most. Then I call people, and what they would say about me is, I see no stranger. Everybody becomes like family to me. And it's the hardest thing for me to just think of myself in my own death. It's not about me. It's what I create for other people in their lives, and who I am showing up for, and how I show up for others. And whether that's in the capacity of a sister, a friend, a mom, a wife, I just have no boundaries of like who I bring close to me. So everybody becomes like family to me. I would be considered love, light, positivity. My kids would sometimes think of me as a dinosaur, I promise you. But they are my life, and I do what I do for them. And I think he would say that in my finance skills are just rubbish. When you tell you that too. But this is a really very present thing, and emotions are, and it is who I am. My emotions are who I am, and yes, I'll care about everybody and everything. Like yesterday, I cried because my neighbor was struggling so much, and I just want to be there for them. So I cook dinner, and I give them whatever extra food we have, and I try and go shopping for them. I'm just always there for people, and that's what I strive to be, and just be of service to everybody, whoever I can. I don't have anything else to say.
Awesome, Prii. I'm grateful we got Raj there to hold you and hug you. And agree with a lot of what you said. That's what we've experienced of you, and we're grateful we have you in our community. All right. Awesome, guys. Like I say, this is the significance of what we're preparing for, and leadership training is all about bringing our presence and our ownership and our responsibility to all that we take on in life. I want you guys to know, others have not yet shared. Is there anybody that's really itching to share, where if we ended the session today, you'd be like, damn, I so should have shared? Hallie, did you want to share?
I'm not sure what to say other than the three people I was thinking about are my three kids and my sister. I'm really close with her. Oh, I didn't think I was going to get emotional. Sorry. Dealing with a lot right now. My father passed away in November. Actually at his house this weekend, trying to clean up and get it ready for sale. But I think for me, back in 2018, 2019, went through a life-changing event, and I feel like since then have been sort of redefining myself and learning about myself and what's important to me. And the kids have seen me sort of struggle through that. So I'm really looking forward to this trip and kind of the journey to get there and accomplish something that's pretty significant physically, but all the other things that come along with that, mental toughness and even just the preparation. There's a lot of things we have to have gear-wise, but also just being able to rely on myself and know that I can accomplish it.
Got it. And that's what people will be saying of you as well, is what you've got?
I think for my kids, just to see me endeavor to take on something as big as this and, you know, plan and prepare and then accomplish it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to now ask anybody else, if you want, you can type in the chat, and we also can share on the WhatsApp group. As a reminder, guys, everything that we share here, there is intent and purpose behind it. In the moment, it might feel like, why are we doing that? Is that necessary? But we're also going to do a bit more sharing on the mountain at the base as part of the preparation. But this is how we collectively create a unit of people who prior to this may not have known each other, but we will get to know each other as we go through this process. Also, as we take on the assignments and sharing the assignments, please do share the assignments and really do them diligently if you want to get the most out of this mountain. You'll also find, when we dig into or get into our hardest moments, the thought of the people that you thought of now, and when you take on the assignment, thinking of them will give you strength in your hardest moments. And you'll discover the psyche and psychology of really what we put together that really is distinct from just a physical program. So I really want you guys to take on participating right now in what we're doing, but also the assignment will allow you to complete this. Sandy, did you want to share yours?
No, Ronnie, I just wanted to share something, and I don't know if this is true for everyone, but hearing everybody speaking, there were pieces that I resonated with each person. So you and Pooja were talking about the power cuts, same, but different. I feel like we're all same, but different, and I can't wait for us to uplift each other as we take on this mountain.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to. We're gonna prepare mantras at some point. Maybe somebody's will be them and the guide is same but different, or Pooja will rock up with a same but different t-shirt. But we're gonna go into the assignment shortly. Hina, is that a quick one?
Quick one. So when I first climbed Kilimanjaro, I was exactly where you guys were. And it was day 5 that I struggled going up, and it's the day I broke down on the mountain. And, you know, all those people I was thinking about, my sister, my nephew, my niece, my brother, all of them, they're the ones who actually, because I was talking about in my mind, and they're the one who got me through. But more importantly, it was the team with me at that time. Like, I had Ronnie, obviously, with his phone out, videoing me crying because he wants to capture everything. Then I had the teammates like, come on, Hina, you can do this. Like, they were like really, you know, cheering me on. So as a team, I think you guys have, I love how you guys have shared, and you're bonding so well. And all these shares you've given, this is where team building works, and it happens. And I feel like I'm part of your team as well now. And it's just like, I'll be rooting from here for you guys. And I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what your thoughts are, etc. So I'm just saying, keep these thoughts going, and it will get you to the top, to Uhuru.
Awesome, Hina. Now, please all have your 3 names ready as we think about this. I want us to look at the Tombstone Exercise assignment that we're going to do. You know, if you died today, what would people say? What would your tombstone, your obituary, or memorial speech say of you? And, you know, I do want to share, this gets really moving. Last time we had somebody who, you know, he has cancelled and been postponing coming because he's got a terminal illness, terminal diagnosis. And often we think of speaking or describing a person a certain way, but when you ask that person each person to say it themselves, it's amazing how they pause to reflect on the quality of how they're living their life and the quality of their relationships. So now you've got 3 people there. I'm going to ask you to contact those 3 people, and you can call them first to explain the context. You can let them know that you're doing a leadership program. You can let them know, if they aren't already here on this call, you can let them know that you're doing this and we're doing an exercise called the Tombstone Exercise. You can share with them that it's about Kilimanjaro. Of course, if you want to invite them, you can extend that invitation, but the focus here is to there's something we've written down that we think how we occur to the world. It's important for us to discover actually how we occur to the world. And we're going to ask those 3 people to write even a short text message to you, or they can drop an email to you. And if you would like them to copy anyone in that matters to you, like your husband, your sister, your sibling, your child, your parent, if you'd like them to copy somebody in, just say, send me an email, and they will say, for your exercise, for the leadership program you're doing, this is what I would say about you. If you died today, this is what I would say about you in a eulogy, your obituary, your speech at your graveyard. This is what I would say about you. So Ronnie was, or Salma was, or Rakesh was, or Seema was, or Hallie was, or Prii was, Sandy was, Pooja was, Raj was. What is it they will say? Arti is, Arti was. So contact those 3 people. Like I said, it's good to call them and explain firsthand. Then you can send them the text message of what you want them to do. What did you accomplish? What will you be remembered for? If they have any stories about you, anything else that they would like to add, right? And allow them to type this out. It could be a text. It might be easier for them in text message, but if you specifically want it on email and somebody in your life to be copied in, please do. Please specify that you're not here looking for some self-pity or attention or whatever it is. And it is specifically an exercise that we're doing as part of a leadership program. So it's important that you explain that context first. Don't do it blindly. Don't just say, hey, I want you to tell me this. Please specifically tell them it's part of Kilimanjaro Leadership Summit. Please don't tell them that I'm doing a mountain where you can tell them you're doing Kilimanjaro, but don't leave them with the impression that I might die, I might not come back. You don't want to scare them off the mountain. It's probably something you would have to tell people if you're doing Everest, I'll be honest with you, but maybe not for Kilimanjaro. So don't leave them with a freaked out version or impression. A separate part of the assignment, I want each of you guys to draft out, this could be in an email, this could be a will. This could be a piece of paper. If you don't have your legal will done, you can find out, who do I need to speak to? How do I draft that? How can I draft a draft that I could share with my next of kin, with my siblings, with my kids? And I tell you why this is important. If it wasn't for this exercise, I started to list out my assets, which is like, hey, if something happened to me, Ambika, this is what you need to know. There's this account, there is a pension here, there is this there. And then I had to start to get things in order, which is like access to my pension. I'd forgotten the username and password. It was from JP Morgan, and I had to get hold of who the new pension provider was. I had to go through a verification process. I had to get my password reset. I had to re-access this account. And you won't believe that till I looked into it, I had drafted that pension and beneficiaries, I think just before marriage or just after marriage. I had no kids then. So in my list of beneficiaries, there was my prior nuclear family, my existing nuclear family, my siblings and my parents as beneficiaries, and my wife, and there were no kids listed there. And what it allowed me to do is, actually, now that I have kids, I'd love to change the ratio of how that pension gets distributed, right? So actually I would want more for my kids and my wife and less for my siblings and my family. And I realized, wow, that would have been somewhat irresponsible if they got hold of the pension provider and they found my siblings, who are both, sorted, taking care of themselves financially. I've still kept a small portion, that goes towards them. But what would you like to have? Then, so please do check this out. Some of us might realize, hey, I actually don't have any of this in place. Maybe I should. And now's a good time to get something in place, because some insurance policies have a 1 month, 3 week, 3 month cooling off period before they take effect, which is, let's say something happened to you on the mountain, something happened to you later this year. If you did it the day before flying out, it may not even apply, it may not even cover you. So it might be good for you to really look at that and what you need to get in place. And then things like handover notes. What handover notes do you need to give? If you were going on holiday from your office, we always prepare handover notes. How many of us have handover notes if we're going to transition to whatever the next world is, right? Whatever you believe the next world is. Anything like passwords, to-do lists. Some stuff on my phone is Face ID protected, so I don't know how I'm going to hand that over. But what do you need to document or draft or list out in terms of handover notes? Now, this is not a light assignment. Whoever has completed this assignment fully before the next session, let me know. I'll have a little prize for you on the mountain, because most don't cover it in totality before the next training webinar, which is in February, right? Which is in the 3rd week of Feb. So if you can get all this done, then the prize might be a chocolate bar, just to manage expectations. But I'll give you that on the mountain. So if there is real power in doing this by design, right? And it's for you, I'm asking you guys to do this by design. And for those of you that joined midway through the session, please listen to the recording from the start, so you really get a sense and context of this exercise properly. Because if you joined in the middle, you might have just thought, oh wow, this is an emotional call, what's going on? But the context really matters. I'm reading Pooja's message. Maybe don't call it eulogy, call it graduation speech for your mom. Oh, Seema, where did you witness that? I don't know what event that was. I hope it wasn't a mountain. All right, cool. Any questions? This is the end of our session. Oh yes, in Kenya, when you were there. Jigna, please ask.
I just want to say whether it's part of the exercise, you're climbing a mountain, not climbing a mountain, whatnot, but have that last part of your exercise on this assignment done, because mine is right here. Everything that Sonali is asking, it's done for the past 4 years now. And it's so important to not leave your loved ones behind you with clearing any messes and everything that goes along with process that needs to be taken care of, and keep updating that file or book or whatever it is, because it's so important, and you just don't know how long it takes sometimes to get through everything that needs to be dealt with. So
Yep, very important. Please do go through that, guys. And like I say, if there's anyone that might be remote from you but knows you well, but somebody you could confide and trust in, you could always send a soft copy to that person to say that I really don't want people to be left with, hey, we're preparing for Armageddon or death or exiting this world. I really don't want you to be left with that. That's not the intent of this. But like I say, it is part of leadership training. Context and all this will make sense, and you'll be grateful at some point that you've drafted this. I know we'll have many more mountains, even pre-Kili and after Kili, that we're going to take on together. And with the right training, with the right mindset, the significance and power of these mountains is going to really be noted and recognizable. Pooja and then Hina. I also just want to acknowledge we are effectively at the end of our time, so off this webinar, and I'll be sharing that assignment again in the chat if you didn't take a screenshot. But if anyone needs to drop or rush off to anything, you can, but we'll share the recording. Pooja?
I just have a question about, in the beginning when you were saying like mountain out of a molehill, I need to clear my molehill before it becomes a mountain. So we did Bluff Knoll, which is a mountain in the Stirling Ranges, which was actually a really challenging hike. It was only 3 to 4 kilometers up, but it was, pretty steep, pretty uneven ground. So I actually managed that part okay. I was really happy, relatively okay, managed it. I was really sore the next day. And because we are camping in tents, Samir was like, imagine if you had to get up and do this again tomorrow. And I was like, wait, I will. So I just want to clear that, like, it is a worry of mine that, because, even getting up to go to the toilet, like Kaya woke up in the middle of the night, was like, I need to go to the toilet. I was like, can you just pee outside the tent? Because I can't walk to the toilets at the campsite. My legs were just jelly. I just want to clear that that's a fear of mine, because I am concerned for my well-being.
Awesome. No, brilliant that you share that, and that is important, but also in line in terms of relatedness, to give you some kind of comfort and assurance, and for everyone else, we do a number of residential treks, and I want to call them the big mountains that we do in the UK. They're only 800 meters or 1,000 meters or 1,200 meters ascent that we do in a day, and we feel really battered at the end of it. And many of the years of doing them, like Brecon Beacons and Snowdon and Scaffold Pike, we have planned that the following day, again, those doing Kili will get up and go again and do part of it or half of it. And I want to say 9 out of 10 instances, or 10 out of 10, the following day people are feeling tired, fatigued, don't have the mood, and then haven't gone ahead to actually do that second day hike. Because we always thought, as part of training, we need to do a mountain one day, sleep, wake up and see if we've got the energy and drive to do it again. And actually in the preparation, most haven't gone and done the second day. So in 10 years of training, I can think of two subgroups of training who have gone the next day to do the hike, and that too did only a short stint. They did like a 2-hour version, or an hour or 3 hour, not even 3 hours, 1 to 2 hour stint, and then decided to turn back and say, okay, that's enough. Not fatigued, not thing, but just like they just didn't have that drive to continue doing the next day. So it's okay if in our preparation we feel, if one day wipes me out, what does 7 look like? Because our brain will magnify something into overwhelm. But again, your brain, when we say that when the going gets tough, the tough get going. When the going gets tough, the toughest bit of you starts to get going on a daily basis. And you will discover stamina, you will discover being driven by adrenaline and somewhat cortisol up on this mountain. And you'll really discover how the group dynamics, if you focus on recovery each night, we clean slate ourselves. And we'll be doing some shares in the tent to clean slate the experiences of the day, get good rest, wake up the next day. And some people, we did Brecon Beacons one of the years ago, where those not doing Kili all slept inside the Boy Scouts hostel, the hall, and those camping slept outside. And camping in Wales, it was freaking colder than Kilimanjaro is. There was ice on our back, it was damp, it was wet. I swear I got some kind of bronchial infection from that one. We had a bad cough from there. And it was sleeping damp in the night and very cold, negative temperatures, which we didn't really have negative temperatures on Kilimanjaro that particular year. But Brecon gave me harder exposure, gave me a stiff back the next day, led to a cough, and I was more adversely affected, thinking, damn, if Brecon is doing this to me, and that was at base, we're sleeping, right? So we're not even sleeping up on the mountain, we hike in the day when it's all good. It's at night when it gets cold and freezing. How am I going to do Kilimanjaro, right? So there was that big confronting fear in my mind, but these calls are for us to disperse that. And yet the mountain wasn't as intense as that, wasn't as bad as that. So, thanks for sharing that, but that's exactly what we want people to be dispelling as you come on these calls. Hina?
So do you have, sorry.
No, go on, Pooja.
I was just going to say, do you have any suggestions for like quick muscle recovery? Because I started getting a cramp in one leg, which actually became annoying. We're now 3 days later and I'm still getting a cramp every now and then. Is there, obviously magnesium, but anything else?
Well, are you taking electrolytes with sodium?
No.
So cramping is predominantly a deficiency in sodium.
Yeah.
And ZMA and magnesium is what we need for recovery. So we need both, right? Are you taking, what form of magnesium are you taking?
I'm taking like a powder that you can use at nighttime. It's a chelate one, which is one of the best absorbed magnesiums.
Okay, just make sure it's not a magnesium oxide,
No.
magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonate, magnesium chloride. Those are good versions you can have. They're good for muscle recovery. Oxide is good for brain health and other stuff, but more the other ones are better absorbing for muscle recovery. What I would say is good to do, say at the end of a hike, and if we've got stiffness or that, a hot shower helps. Because when we're really fatigued, we're not in the mood of undressing to go for a shower, depending on where you are. But on the mountain, that's what happens. So it takes something to say, now I'm getting my stuff, I'm going to go undress, I'm going to change, have the hot shower. It's cold outside, you want to stay layered. But to allow yourself a new change of clothes, something warm after a hot shower. And then if you have some kind of muscle rub or balm, rub yourself up with that as well. And have your ZMA. Electrolytes is so important, but electrolytes is important as well during the hike. So while we're on the hike and you see you're sweating, you can see you're starting to cramp or stiffness, you want to be having your electrolytes in that moment as well, so that you don't do what's called flushing to your body, where you're losing mineral salts and body salts, and then you are just replacing it with water alone. So it's important you have that. And on the mountain, having your supper is key, is the non-negotiable biggest contributor to people being better the next day. We have had people have only soup for supper, which is 50 calories. It's nothing. No matter how much soup you drink, you're getting minuscule calories. People wake up in the morning, they think, hey, I'm okay, I can go again. That second night they do soup again, or they don't eat supper. And by day 3, I want to say at least 50 to 60% who have done that, they start to head down on day 4 or 5. and it impacts them. When their supper is compromised, they're 3 days away from turning around. Hina? You're on mute, Hina.
Sorry, I was trying to write as well at the same time. I was saying basically on your conversation that you must eat on the mountain. You'll feel altitude will get to you. Honestly, it will, and you will feel I don't want to eat. I don't want to even see. I feel sick. All of that stuff. But what I'm going to say to you is, eat. Bring some of your own nuts or something, because if you don't eat, just think your energy is less. You won't be able to walk. So whenever you feel like not eating, you please eat. The reason my hand is up is hiking practice. Literally, you have 5 months, literally about 22 weeks. I won't stress enough. The more practice you do, the better the chance of you summiting. No practice. It's your mountain. You have signed up for this. Remember that. We can take you to the gate. We can get you there, but you have to do the walking. You have to do the 6 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours walking. So training is really important. I found it the hard way when I was at Machu Picchu and Rainbow Mountain without any training. I was tired, I was sick, all of that. So coming from experience, no training, you're not going to get there. I mean, I got there by people carrying me, but that wasn't my intention. I was like, train, and you'll get there. Ronnie earlier, when he first started this call, he said the 68-year-old dad got to summit and his daughter didn't. In day 3, she had to turn down because she had signed up, but she didn't train at all. And a week before, she was calling me, panicking, etc. If you don't train, this is your mountain. That's what I'm going to say. So my focus is on for you guys. You've got 5 months, get your training on the call. The second thing, Ronnie, we need to confirm our date for the next webinar. Third is a Monday. I know we've now moving to Sunday. So are you available on the 9th at 1:30 for the US team in Australia? So we can make sure it's on a Sunday from now on.
I can't do 9th. Can you do the following weekend?
So that's the weekend of Valentine's. So that's the one you were saying, 16th or something, right?
Fully booked up.
No, not me, you.
Oh, all right. No, actually, I am on a course that weekend.
Cool, sir.
And 9th is my dad's 80th. His 80th is on the 12th, but we're doing it on the 9th.
Okay, let's revert. Maybe if we can do a Saturday, if that's okay with everybody, 8th or something like that. I don't know, Ronnie. It's
8th could be done. 8th could be done.
Yeah, it would like. Are we okay with the 8th at 1:30? That means what time is yours? Is it 7:30, 8:30?
1:30 is 9:30 here, but I can make most evenings work, so that's fine.
Perfect. Okay. Prii, is that okay with the
Now,
US
just wanna-
side? Good. Lastly, there are US treks happening. There will be calendar updated on the US chat of the treks. Carol has designed this with Prii. I think you've checked them as well, right? So these will be happening. So make sure you do, if you can, from US, go to these. I might be coming in April. I'm not committing yet to the Denver one. So if you have any questions or anything like that, I'm happy to answer them. If you need anything, you can always ask me. If I'm definitely coming, I'll bring it with me. Okay. So plan is to come to Denver one, the one in April. UK team treks are already happening. The first trek is next weekend on the 19th of January. And please do attend as many as you can. And Kenya team, there are already hikes out on your chat. So please try and attend as many as you can. Australia team, Pooja, I know you're already doing it, so I'm happy to support you, but I can't get there. But I'm virtually supporting you. That's all, Ronnie. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, cool. So Sorry, the hiking logs have been updated, Hina, did you say? I didn't get to review it before
So
this.
some of them have, I'm reviewing them. After you had a question, I think you wanted to ask, please.
Yeah, but I think you answered it on the group, where, you know, my daily, I'm hitting my 5 kilometers daily, but I don't think I need to log that on. And I'm doing my first hike, my first ever hike, actually, in my whole 40 plus years, on Sunday, coming Sunday. So I'm quite excited for that. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Where are you
Let us
going,
know how
Arthur?
it goes.
I'm doing longer nut. So yeah,
Awesome.
and yeah, then I
Awesome.
spoke
Have
to
you told
Urvi.
the other FitBanker
It's
Kenyans?
on the Kenyan group. But I don't know if anybody
Okay.
else is joining me. I know Dhruti is not joining me, but she's joining me for the next one, which is Zania Falls, which is on 2nd of Feb. So yeah.
Is that in Aberdeen?
I'm not really sure. I have to still do my research. And the thing
Okay.
is, I know March I'll not be able to do any hikes. One, because I'll be fasting for Ramadan. So I said April I'll probably do two to cover up for that. So yeah.
Just so you know, we've had a lot of people fast during Ramadan in the prep for Kili, and that actually doing 13 kilometers with another Nikki Izadi who was training, and she didn't have a sip of water and I needed it. It was relatively flat. I would recommend, if you can, try and do a fast. It doesn't have to be intense and incline, but you try to go for a big hike, flat ground and within the city, or not far from the city. So if you need to break or get back home or whatever, you can do that. But it's actually, to me, that really subconsciously fed me of, man, no matter how bad it gets on the mountain, I recall that person, and I'm like, wow, if they could do that. And she was not the only one, but this was Nikki Izadi who did a hike with us in London. And when she had zero prep, but she saw she could do her first training hike, she signed up after that, right? So she's like, well, if I can do this, and Ronnie, you needed water and you were fatigued, and she was just fine, then she was very encouraged to sign up to Kilimanjaro.
So I
So
may just do like a Karura 10
yeah,
kilometer in that
yeah,
month, just to, you know. But yeah, like you
yep, I
said, because I
recommend
know
that.
with yeah. So that's what I'll do.
Yeah, so if you were to do something like 2 p.m. on a Saturday, you go and do Karura and you do 3 hours or 4 hours of a
Yeah.
hike, and obviously you allows you to get to iftar time, then it will be brilliant for you to do that. But really discover what we have in our mantra: the human body is an amazing thing. I want all of you to discover how amazing it is.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, guys, please, 8th Feb is literally 4 weeks away. If you're taking on this assignment, please do take it on diligently. It is empowering, it's powerful. We're now going to look at a slight flip to the script after we see your shares. For those of you that get responses by text, you can share them ahead on the chat. All right? You don't have to share your wills and passwords on the chat, but you can share your responses to what people would say of you on the chat. Some people may want to give you a voice note, text message, email. You can share those ahead of time, because the next session we won't have time to go through everybody's. We might have some of you share a few, so it's recorded, but we will also look at, if not the Tombstone exercise, what's another way of looking at our life, and quite empowering. But it's important we go through this process first. So look forward to seeing you guys on the next session. Thanks all for being here. I've shared the proposed US trek dates. I share that because some of you might even say, hey, you know what, I can go to the US and I'd love to join them for one. The UK calendar trek dates are also shared. They've also been shared on the Treks chat. We should share the UK dates, because I know some people here at different parts of the world might have a trip to the UK planned,
Okay.
and they may want to coincide that with the trek. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks all for being on. So awesome. And see you at the next sesh. Bye for now.
Thanks.